Good evening. It's a real honour to be here for many reasons. The changes that are happening at the moment are happening very fast. And it's only last night, I think it was last night, that a major change happened around a lot of people that were gathered together with us in the name of the place is Fairfield. So that's about 6 hours away. What I'll do tonight is run you all through the various little bits and pieces that came together so that quite a major shift happened. It didn't just happen in that place, it's happened here as well. And I notice that my vision here is not as clear as it will be in a few minutes because the energies are just sitting there and they're not really flowing at the rate that we'll see them flow later on. If I just go back a little bit, I think all of you have seen a little bit about me and some of the experiences I've had over the last 20 years, but mainly in the last 3 or 4 years. And the biggest experience of all for me is to see people move forward and go past me. And I'm starting to see that very often now. One of the biggest exercises that has happened around me is that people have started to see who they are. Not just in a sense of having it all together, figuring everything out, letting everything go. It's a case of them moving to a point where they're quite happy to show their divinity in everyday life. And the main thing that really registered with people was they have started to feel that they have got access to the gifts that they know they brought here for the world. And in connecting to those gifts, they've found that the only way they can do anything with them is if they really know who they are. Not the gifts, but each person. Because that divine signature is the same as the signature you need to get onto the internet or to get something out of the bank. If you're not totally the divine being that came here as a visitor to sit on the stage of earth and enhance the whole experience of earth, then you're not recognised in the bank of your connection to all the gifts that you decided to bring here to earth. And quite often we lose that signature or we lose connection, and it takes a while to find a new connection and a new password. But around us, we've developed quite a network. Not a network of conversation, but a network of connection directly to one another that produces a matrix upon which we can bring in the unknown and make it real in the physical world. And because of that matrix, each one of us remembers the password of the other. And even by a slight word of saying, are you doing well? Brightens you up, lets you see that you're not showing yourself as a divine being that needs to be here and recognise itself, so that you can experience every minute of every day your own presence. Once you feel your own presence, your connection is automatic. And so when you walk into the bank, you recognise straight away. There is no more struggle, and there's no more need to decide, will I or won't I be the divine being that walks around on earth, knowing that you're quite different to many, many other people. So in recent times I've been talking about this a lot and starting to show people the reality that comes with a little thing that we've forgotten, and that's the fact that we are infinite trust. Not that we have infinite trust, but we are infinite trust. And being infinite trust bypasses everything that we've ever thought we had to do to be here on this earth. Infinite trust is that direct single-line connection between the special part of you, the divine being, and infinity itself. Infinite trust holds everything about you, and it holds the knowing of how everything works. It has no description. It's you. And in that infinite trust, everything is programmed automatically. Even the regeneration of your own being, including the physical regeneration that's happening right now. And as soon as we see that infinite trust, we can decide to put into that line the automatic regeneration of every cell in our body, just by allowing it to be. There is no method, and there's no method in anything. In that line of infinite trust, everything starts to run automatically. And all the things that I've shown people over the years, I don't have to show anymore. All the explanations are in there, and it's you. And as we go back through everything we've done in our life, before our normal, recent life even, we can't separate from that infinite trust line. It's all in there. There is no explanation needed once you know who you are. I did a long session with people about 3 weeks ago, and we taped it all. And at the end of it, I said, I won't have to do that again, because everyone in the world got it. And as soon as I mention infinite trust, you slip into that line immediately, without needing any explanation, and without any cause to be anything else. As infinite trust, you are able to stretch yourself beyond infinity, beyond the peak of yourself as infinite trust. And as you stretch beyond that, you can feel the music that you generate beyond infinity. You don't need imagination, you can feel it. It's your unique music. And it generates at that peak of infinity, beyond every definition that you've ever had, beyond the definition of your God, of you, of anything else. Because as infinite trust, you know that. And as that music generates like the peak on an antenna, it transmits. And you start to do what you said you would do when you came here. And that's to rebirth like a star. As the music is generated above you and above your infinite trust, it generates into a marvellous blue light of your own frequency and of your own music that gradually grows until it bursts out into the universe like the birth of a star. And as that happens, the very, very fine energies that you produce return to you and start to regenerate every part of your being as it re-meets in the physical world. As it re-meets those particles and also re-meets active energies that are all around you and gives you a capability and a size way beyond what you've felt in the physical world before. And once you feel that regeneration start, the fineness of every part of the energy builds to a crescendo where you elevate every part of yourself into the universe and bring back a life force that has courage, elegance, and a special power that is so fine and so deep in your heart that it's beyond all the definitions you've ever come up with to represent love. This cycle continues 3 times. And as I explain it, you can feel the energy grow. It's a unique energy that has not been supported on this earth until now. It's an energy that redevelops the world around you. Not directly, but by developing circumstance and events to reform every movement that we'll do in the world and every movement that's happening in the universe. I've rushed this through very quickly, just to let you feel what you've done in the last few days. Every one of you have felt it. Good. Now we can start. Now you can feel one another. Now we all know. Great. And in that knowing, you can feel the development of a whole new world. Where you don't need understanding, and you don't need anything. Because as a need comes into your field, it is provided. If it gets to the point where it can be defined as a need, it's not supposed to be in the cycle. As you know, then it is. You remember that? So it's a knowing beyond any of the knowing that we've listed up until this point. We've taken ourselves past all logic at last and didn't really notice we were doing it. We pushed out into the universe and popped that balloon that was keeping us covered for such a long time. And now there is no connection back to where we came from. No connection back to the earth that we understood a few days ago. Each one of us feels our own presence more than anything else. And to be preoccupied by your own presence is such a thrill that it maintains your life and builds a whole new reality that has nothing that we ever had before. We've taken nothing with us. And for each one of you, this has all happened in a different way. But you can all feel it. And you can feel the total comfort that comes with that connection. The total comfort that is beyond the definition of comfort. What we can look forward to can't really be described. You can look back, or you can predict, but will have no connection to that form anymore. Every step represents nothing, because we're really generating a whole new existence. And as soon as I mention that whole new existence, you felt a little spark in your heart. Quite different to the heaviness and the strength in the heart that we've had to have. It's a very subtle tingle, very subtle message that doesn't hold any pressure. Because our heart's desire is what drives the active energies to create the circumstance to fulfill more than we could possibly understand as being our heart's desire. And as things come forward in the world, you'll feel that tingle, that pop, that yeah, that's it. That you didn't plan at all. But the recognition of how things are moving, the recognition of your heart's desire is happening for you every minute of every day. If I go back now to talk about infinite trust and say that's who you are, it doesn't hold the same power as it did when I first said it, because you moved past it so quickly once you understood that's who you are. And when I talked about infinity and beyond infinity and what we're doing out there, you've surpassed that as well. All those concepts have no reference anymore. The vibration that we feel is so fine now that it takes no effort. And the interaction we have with one another feels like zero, which is exactly how our interaction works best. The place where we've brought this unique energy from is where we all gathered a long, long time ago. And this is the first time all our signatures have gone in to the network all at once. And we're starting to lift the lid off the existence that we've had to live so that we could be on this earth. It's now time to show yourselves every minute of every day. And in doing that, you will only know yourself. Every person around you will add to that, but you'll still only know yourself. And the comfort of the field that's generated by everyone's presence is enough to support us all to move through into a whole new reality. I've gone fairly fast to this point, and it sounds a little bit like no logic at all. But I've done that because we're past stepping up ladders. We now go from dimension to dimension, to world to universe, and back again in the blink of an eye. We are everywhere, even here. I've demonstrated many times by just saying to people, you're up in a plane, you're on a train, you're skiing in the Alps, you're on a boat, you're on the other side of the trees, you're at a friend's place, you're looking down on the stars, and you don't even have to move. You don't imagine, you're just there. There was no process, and looking down the stars was just as easy as being on the other side of the room. So the fact that you're universal beings is no shock to anyone. And where you are now is more than that. Because you've gone past even the label of universal beings to somewhere that is not defined, using everything that is unknown and needing no reference to the known. That's pretty brilliant. It's also quite normal. In your normal state, you can push past every reality and know every reality in the second that you exist, and have no need for connection to the past or the future, because you're totally occupied all the time. And it's not living in the now, it's now living. Now that we're at that point where everything's normal and we're beyond our everyday life, we can now look at our divine capabilities and the massive supercomputer that works for us in every second. It's not strange to see something at this same time as you thought about it. But in fact, you didn't think about it until it existed. The process that you now have at your fingertips is not a process. It's the magic that you all know is yours. That one. The magic you can feel. the magic you can transmit, and the magic that'll lift you out of your chair without doing anything. We'll play with that a little bit over the night. It's my intention to bring a lot of this to light in a way where it won't really be seen in the physical world until you do it. And how I'll do that is just let you feel the energies every now and then, the ones that you already know. Allow the magic of being to be far beyond the physical world in a way where it can be seen to reflect in the physical world. So your sense of everything is complete in every second. You don't have to wait for feedback. You don't have to wait for the world to respond. And the way we're going to do that is to just take you a fraction higher to where you have always been, to where there's nothing that you know about from here. And it's quite easy and simple. And the only thing that happens is your physical body will get a very slight buzz and a very, very comfortable feeling. Where you don't have to use any facilities at all. Because everything that you will use is totally unknown. Good. And you're using that without me stating anything. The unknown brilliance that is beyond even the brightest of minds. The brilliance that creates stars. Real, physical, celestial stars. Good. Feel that. Good. And the movement of the universe that's at your fingertips will happen whenever you need it to happen. And it's beyond seeing it. It's a knowing, and then it is, all at the same time. And the endless flow of energy that you generate from the twinkle of a star. So calm and brilliant, that it can light up every world and every dimension. and your ability to bring that endless flow of energy into the physical world in such a way that you can feel it around your body all the time. Knowing that while that is there, every person, every plant, every animal, every living thing, every static thing, every structure, and everything in our vision is enhanced by your being. Your presence is the only presence. And the physical mind is enhanced by that knowing. Good. Good. In the world that we're used to, there is no difficulty. In the world that we're used to, there's only joy. And even a smile has no conditions. And that world is yours. And the essence of that world is your own energies and all the active energies that work to maintain your being. And to bring circumstance and events that generates more energy and more life in this new world that you're bringing to the earth's plane. In everything that's been done in the past, there is no connection to now. And there is no need to do anything about that. You are totally you. And now it's time to push a little further up into your world and allow yourself to go through that door that will close behind you. So that you are only ever able to work with the unknown. As you go through, push your energies up through the top of your head and generate your own unique music and transmit to every world the reality of your presence to every world. Now take your body and allow it to rest in the harmony of the unknown. Every component within your body and external to your body can now regenerate at its own pace, without question, and without needing any authority. It's beautiful. Where we find ourselves is in a place where we can really make a difference. And the way we make a difference is to make a difference to ourselves. This is where we are the universe. Where there's no need for anything, and where we exist together in complete harmony of unknowing. It's now time to see that our influence on everything is what allows us to be effective in the physical world. It's not what we do, it's our influence on the active energies that we've brought in around us. It's our ability to have things happen because we're there. The simple things, like feeling the impulse from a child that has their whole story. One that we can open up and invite into the physical world. The feeling of those who are entering a new field is more important to the world than those who are still maintaining an old field. Where we sit, we will lift the energies of every person who is ready to live with the unknown. And each one of you will be you the special being who knows how to live beyond this world and have a total effect on themselves, so that this world can gain in every way possible. I'm just going to join all that together so that it's all here now, solid. So that you can maintain that forever. This has nothing to do with your life here. This is to do with you. Good. Now I want you to come back to your life here and have a little break. Drink plenty of water, because you'll find that it will change your physical being as well. Sit as long as you like, get up, move around, and gradually mix the energies and just have a little break. We'll come back in 10 minutes or so.